Alright, I'm going to talk a little bit about the equipment that I have. Not bragging like, hey, look at my stuff. Just want to show people what I have to explain a few things. I'm video only. I don't do any photos at all. Right now, what I'm using up here is a GoPro 7 Black. Obviously, I can't show what it looks like because I'm using it. Forgot what these microphones were called, but they were like $10 for two. And then I made my own little fur piece. It's out of fur, and I put it on there as a wind muff. If you have the little foam thing on there, those don't work very well. They help, they're better than nothing, but when a breeze comes, they really don't help with wind. They help more for popping out of a person's mouth, like a pop filter does. So if you're ever going to do something like that, make your own thing. I know it looks stupid, but it's function over form. If you're ever going to get into any type of video, don't ever do any audio unless you have some sort of microphone, whether it plugs into the camera or whether it goes into an external recorder like this. So right now I'm using this. This is a Tascam Dr07. I love this little thing. It has been my workhorse and it does a lot of cool stuff. So this right here is actually a toolbox. And my wife got me this for Christmas. This is a modular toolbox. So what that means is you can put this piece here, this piece here. You can mix and match these pieces, buy different pieces, and they lock together with these handles. They lock together. And then you can put them in any order you would like. I think this was an awesome present because I'm usually working out of tubs and boxes and all kinds of different bins, and now every single thing I own is in this one thing that I can just grab and go. So let's look at this top piece first. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I'm just going to go through a couple different things to show some stuff. So this is a 7 Black right here. This is what I'm using. This particular one has a label on it that I put it's 240. This one I usually use in 240 FPS. Right now the one I'm holding is in 1080-60. That's normally what I record in. I have another one I'm using as a dash cam. I will show on screen what that looks like. It's also running in 1080-60. These are all the GoPro batteries. This is an extra case, which is a heat dissipating type of case. I have a session down in here. This is the Hot Wheels car. You put the session in here and you can roll it around. These are what I call my black cameras. These are 720-30, which these are originally my backups. I have used them for lots of stuff. I'll show what they look like on the screen. This is a Canon Vixia 800. I can't remember, like HFR or whatever it's called. I had a camera just like these. These are JVC Evarios. I had one that was a 1080-30 and it broke. I just replaced it with this. I'm running this one in 1080-60. And it has a wide angle for it right here. And this is all the batteries and all the charging cables for everything that's up here. There's a 360 camera in here as well. And I haven't figured out where to put band-aids yet. Gotta have band-aids. I'm very particular about certain things, so all my batteries have numbers on them. I try and use them in order. They're all labeled, they're all for different cameras, so I make sure that's the Canon, that's the second battery for the Canon, that's the first battery for the Canon. The other ones say 720s on them, or JVCs, whatever it says. I'm very particular about stuff, and because that says 240, the other one says dash for the dash cam. The one I'm using actually has a 1080 label on it. Everything's labeled. I'm very picky about that type of thing. So I'm not going to show what's in all these. I usually have backups and then backups of backups, which is very redundant, but that's what you have to do with video. If you're taking photos, I'm sure you understand that as well. The bottom one has like a yellow vest, my sun hat, sunscreen, stuff that I normally don't use. The other one has a jackery. I'll show a picture of that on the screen, what a jackery is. That comes with me. It stays in the car, or I can use this and roll it around, charge things while I'm running around. And there's some other various attachments in there. But this second piece is where I keep the audio equipment. And there's some GoPro suction cups in here. This is a Tascam Dr05, which is different than the 7. And I got this because it was cheap. The 7 is better. It does more stuff, but they both pretty much work the same way. This is the Insta360 handle. This is a handheld microphone. This is an Audio Technica. I can't remember the model number, and it also looks stupid. This is also fur. It's brown fur. Underneath there is, believe it or not, saran wrap underneath here, so I can use it in the rain. And a selfie stick. And this is another microphone. This matches the one I'm actually using right now, so you can see kind of what I did to it. I have a very wide variety of different types of tripods, some cheap, some not cheap. I have one tripod where the middle piece comes out and becomes a monopod. I have separate actual monopods, just a bunch of garbage. Stuff that I use all that stuff like all the time. This right here is my favorite tripod. This was given to me. It's a very, very old Bogan 3051. Now, if you look up a 3051 online, it's different than this. It's like they remade it and it's different, but with the same number. I don't know why you'd put the same number, but so be it. They originally marketed these as you can stand on them. Now, I'm not going to do that. Of course, it'd be great for video when I hit the ground. The thing that's cool about this is it has quick releases on it. So I can squeeze one knob and pull the whole thing up, and all the legs come up together and they go down together. Or each leg also has its own individual release. That's the thing I really like about this. It's very quick. But this is my heavy duty one. If I really want to make sure it's not going to fall over, or if somebody accidentally walks by and kicks it, even though I usually put yellow tape around it or cones, this I know is very, very sturdy. I have a bunch of homemade stuff and it looks weird because it's all made out of like PVC and stuff. I have a PVC slider with rollerblade wheels and stuff. I'll see if I can find some footage. I haven't used it in a while. I'll see if I can find some footage and put it on the screen. This right here is one of my main pieces, believe it or not, and I know it looks weird. A lot of my stuff looks weird, but it's very functional. Originally, this was given to me. It's an aluminum golf ball retriever, and it was broken. And some guy gave it to me. And I'll see if I can find a real one and show it on the screen. This piece up here, I put a 1/4 inch 20 in there. That was my original idea. And that's where the retriever piece goes to grab the ball. That's the part that was broken. So originally I put this on there and I had a GoPro on top. This is an 18-foot pole. And I made this little attachment for it. So this is the quick release for the head. And it's all labeled. I have all these numbers and letters on it because it's made for a specific reason for this. It goes here and I have to match up the numbers and it screws in here. Because originally this piece, if you turn the head sideways, it went here. This goes to 6 feet, this goes to 18 feet. And I used to have a GoPro that sat on the top. And that was for marching band, for a wide angle. Also up here, I would attach the Audio Technica microphone, which is a mini shotgun. Because it was so high in the air, I then ran cables down and I would have chargers with me and to keep the stuff running all day. This right here is another 1/4 20 on a hose clamp, and that's where the audio recorder would attach. So while this was sitting on the tripod like this, I had access to the recorder to start and stop. These right here, the original idea for these was not to hold this pole. These are called broom holders or mop holders for like a utility closet, and it's a quick release. I can't do it because I zip tied it on purpose. Otherwise it comes off because it is a quick release type thing. I originally had an old glide cam, and the idea for the glide cam was because I didn't want to take the camera off. I had a GL2 on top of the glide cam. was to be able to use the tripod with the same camera without taking it apart, because I only had the one camera. So what I did was this idea with this plate, and this would sit on the tripod just like this, and I would use the glide cam, and I'd come up to the tripod and pop it into here, and then use the tripod, and then I could pop it right back off back into the glide cam position. That was the original idea that started all this. So this is the new gimbal for the 7 blacks. I had 3 blacks before with a different gimbal. So this evolved into this, which is pretty crazy. And what this is I simply hose clamped the gimbal to the pole. And the other gimbal, I was able to go farther up on the pole. This one I can't. It still goes pretty far out. The reason why is when you switch these cameras to high speed, whether it's 120 or 240, the stabilization turns off. So these have very good stabilization in them when they're in your hand walking around. They're actually pretty darn good. The newer phones have the same type of stabilizer in them. But once you start going to the super slow-mo speeds, that stuff turns off. You can't change it. So that's what the gimbal is for. And it's on the pole so I can get reach, so I can get closer to the cars. People have done donuts around me, and I'll show what that looks like. I'll show some of the drifting clips that I get from this. But this is telescoping, so I can get this pretty long. I can't put it all the way out because the weight bends it, but it works. It's very functional. And even though I don't use this piece anymore for quick release, I left it on there almost as a counterbalance. When this is out there, so I'm not having to hold it, it kind of helps me counterbalance. For the microphone that was on the top, I also took a 2-liter bottle and I cut it and put felt all over it, and it would go around the microphone to block any other sounds and wind and whatever. So it was very directional because it is a mini shotgun mic. I know my stuff is very unconventional, but it's very functional. And if you have any questions, you want to know anything about GoPros, they used to call me the GoPro guy because I use them all the time for lots of different things. I've been using GoPros since the number 1. They do have small glitches here and there. Once you learn how to work around them, they're fine. I think a lot of times what people are thinking are glitches are user issues that, you know, you can't just buy the biggest card you can and shove it in there. That stuff like that doesn't work. So if you have any questions regarding any of the equipment I made, or you want to help develop something weird looking like what I have, then let me know, and I'll always be glad to help everybody.